Someone knocked my chair. Today. I would like to call to order the Tuesday, January 6, 2026 meeting of the City Council. Madam Clerk, roll call to establish a quorum, please.
Mayor Ricky Williams Jr.,
Present.
Vice Mayor Eve Ludwig,
Present.
Alderman John Cooper,
Here.
Doug Arns,
Here.
Jaleel Jones,
Here.
Tricia Teague,
Present.
Sherry Pickering,
Here.
Rick Streebing,
Here.
Mike Poore,
Present.
Mike O'Kane,
Here.
Barry Johnson,
Present.
Tom Hightower, James Pichard,
Present.
Carolyn DeToy,
Present.
Ed Butler,
Present.
13 present.
13 present. We do have a quorum. At this time, we will have the invocation by the Father John Sear of St. Paul Catholic Church, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Alderman Pickering. Please rise.
In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. Heavenly Father, we gather before you with grateful for the gift of this community. Bless the leaders of our city with wisdom to serve every voice, especially the overlooked. Guide their decisions towards justice and compassion, so streets brim with safety and homes with peace. May unity heal divisions and love conquer fear. Through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Father. If you'd like, we'd be happy to hear any updates that you all have going on at the church or the parish.
Sure. I guess just real quick, a little saint story. Tomorrow on the Catholic Church calendar is St. Raymond of Pennyfort, and he was a church lawyer and canon lawyer. So some politicians and lawyers, I guess, go together a little bit. So I thought I'd mention him. Also, he was a good lawyer. Like all the lawyers in the room, good ones. And there's some that need some help, so we pray for them too.
Amen, bro.
And yeah. So also too, a little story about St. Raymond I told on Sunday. I don't know if it's a true story, but I like the story anyway. But so he was a missionary priest, and one day he was trying to go to his next assignment. And he was at the dock waiting for a boat or a ship to take him, and they were not letting him on. So days and weeks went by, and there he was with his blanket there on the dock waiting. And so he finally got impatient, put his blanket out on the sea, and it floated. So he stepped out on it, pulled up one of the corners, and the wind picked up, and off he went across the sea to his next missionary assignment. Again, I don't know if that's a true story, but it's a nice little story about St. Raymond and his missionary efforts. Also, too, a little story I told Sunday about a baptism. I was on Facebook Messenger, the parish Facebook page, and there was a lady asking for her to get her baby baptized. And I said, okay, great. Let's meet and do a little baptism class, and we'll schedule the baptism. And so we set a date to meet a few days back, and so she sent me a message on Facebook, and she said, I'm having a hard time finding the entrance of the church. And so I thought, well, maybe she's at the wrong church, or maybe she's at another St. Paul's. And so I tried to call her, and anyway, turns out she was in New Jersey. So I'm not sure how she found me. And then she did say good things. She got the baptism scheduled, and so she found her way. And then I was joking too. I don't know if I get half credit for that. So anyway, and then another thing as far as a little update at Schlarman. So I'm pastor at St. Paul's and also a chaplain at Schlarman Academy, the pre-K through 12. With the principal search ongoing, so please pray for our next principal. There's one candidate that everybody really likes, so we're trying to get that firmed up. So pray for that position to be filled with a good principal, so we'll have a good school. And also, I'd say too, part of the thing in my opinion, top priority is getting our high school enrollment up. I think our pre-K through 8 numbers are decent, but our high school number, we need to get that number up to be a good, strong, viable high school. So please pray for that, the success of the school. And it's good, even non-Catholic, it's good in town to have that option of another school. And also, too, at this, obviously, I almost say, ideally, I wish our enrollment was more Catholic kids, but actually half or more non-Catholic, so it's open for everybody. We teach the Catholic faith, but any background's welcome to come there. So I think I joked last time, too. I'm not here tonight asking for money, but I might be back asking for money. So pray the donors can figure it out. And so thank you, Mayor and Alderman. Good to be with you this evening.
Thank you, Father. At this time, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the December 16th meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion or debate? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you very much. Also, we'd like to approve the agenda. We would like to remove one item, and that's item number 16. Unfortunately, the contract revisions did not come through to you. They were sent out on last Friday, and I want to make sure that you have plenty of time to read those before you actually vote on them, of course. So I would ask that the motion be approved as amended with the removal of item number 16.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion or debate? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you very much. I do not have any proclamations or board committee or personnel appointments this evening. Are there any reports of boards, agencies, or commissions? Seeing none, I do have a couple of items of information for you. A couple of things that I would like to address that have been going on in the community that I think are important. Number one is the situation with Heister Yale. I would like everyone to know just some of the things that we did in order to try to prevent them from leaving our community. So a couple of years ago, they approached Logan with the idea that they were looking to consolidate. And at that time, it was our understanding their primary goal was to consolidate here. We hired a consultant, and we paid them, I think, close to $30,000 to come up with different options for them to be here in Danville. It was a 40-ish page presentation. We met with their CEO via Zoom, as well as all of their local people in person, answered their questions, and then we had radio silence for a long season, I would say about 8 months or so. Despite us reaching out, Logan and I, via email, via telephone, via text message. Finally, maybe 5 or 6 months ago, we heard from them again and said, okay, we're more serious. And we showed them many different sites throughout the community, some that were in Danville and some that were not in Danville proper. And you might say, well, Mayor, why would you, as the mayor of Danville, show company sites that aren't in Danville? Because in my estimation, although I want them to be in Danville, if they're not going to be here, it's much better that they be just outside of Danville or in Tilton or Hoopeston or Westville or Georgetown than if they leave our community entirely. That's 200 and some odd good paying jobs, right? They selected a site that was just outside of the city of Danville, but contiguous. We put together a proposal with them with the support of the city council. We offered them a financial package, I reached out to Governor Pritzker and my friend Kristen Richards, who's the head of DCO, the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity. They put together a package as well. We thought we put together a really strong package, and it seemed that we did. A couple of months pass, and I'm on vacation, and they call and say, we need $1.5 million more, Mayor. So you guys know me, I'm not keen to offer up our resources if we can find them elsewhere. So I reached back out to the state. They said, Mayor, we can make it happen. They also at that time threw in a partnership with the University of Illinois through their engineering division for the engineering staff for free tuition, free classes, and free collaboration on projects. So I thought that we were there. They then tell us, at that time it was another community in Indiana. They told us they're out of the running, so we thought it was just us. Fast forward to 2 days before Thanksgiving, I get a call from my team in panic mode. Mayor, they're telling us they need $5 million more. How are we going to pay for it? We have money in Fund 107 because we did not have any economic development projects on the slate, or major ones at the time that we hadn't already budgeted for. They put together a project and said, Mayor, if we don't do these couple of projects, we think we could come up with it. I'm never going to offer up our resources when I think we can get other resources first. So I reached out to the state again and said, hey, this is the issue that we're having. I think that we could come up with $500,000 pretty readily if we delay one of our projects. And it would be hurtful to us, but we could make it happen. Can you come up with anything? The state came up with another $4.5 million to meet the $5 million mark. And then something happened that I thought put us way over the line. The developer, Mr. Paul Offit, then also reduced the cost to build the structure by over $10 million. So at this time, they've asked us for $5 million additional dollars. So we've given them initial proposal. We've revised it. They've asked us for more. We've given them the more. They've asked us for more again. We've given them the more. We've come up with the more. And Mr. Offit reduced his cost by just over $10 million. So they asked us for $5 million, and we've now given them $15 million additional dollars. The day before Thanksgiving, this is when this meeting happened. I was in Georgia visiting family. I had to delay getting to Louisiana to visit family by almost half a day, but we made it happen, and I'm proud of my team. I want to thank Logan and Dave and Alyssa, all of our team, for working so hard to bring things together. Then we hear nothing. And then, like many of you, I heard via the news, despite reaching out to Heister on multiple occasions, that they were going to Avon, Indiana instead. I cannot tell you why they chose that. What I can tell you is that, unfortunately, our shop here was one of their last union shops in the country. So, in my estimation, wouldn't be surprised if it had something to do with that, especially given that they have told all of their employees that work here that if they want to continue to work over there, that they have to reapply for their jobs. So the outcome is disappointing, but what I want to say is this: I'm incredibly proud of our team. I'm very thankful to Governor Pritzker, to Director Richards. I'm very thankful to Mr. Paul Offit, to the folks from Vermilion Advantage, especially interim CEO Tracy, for everything that they have done to make this possible. What we proved is that no matter what the obstacles, no matter how people feel about one another, that we can work together to make something happen. Now, unfortunately, that didn't happen this time, but the fact that we were able to put our best foot forward to make it happen, I'm very proud of. The second situation that I want to talk to you about that I keep hearing about is the mall. Mayor, what is going on with the mall? What I will tell you is, unfortunately, they have stopped communicating with us. They are no longer responding to Logan via email or text or me. And so what I know is all from hearsay, purvey, secondhand, from the news and other media outlets. My understanding is they have not paid. So it's important for people to realize the mall at some point along the way years ago was segregated into 3 different parcels. There was a parking lot area, mostly by what we call the dental area now. There was what we'll refer to as the grocery area, which was from Ross, Dunham's, Pet Supply Plus, and the and County Market, and the parking lots that are right in front of those. And then there was the entire rest of the mall and the rest of the parking lot that didn't encompass those areas, excepting Slumberland and the shoe store, the shoe depot. Slumberland folks own that space, okay? What's happened is they have not even paid the taxes on the non-grocery store area, and it is being auctioned off at an auction later this month for just over $700,000 as the starting bid. So that's the minimum bid in order for that. Now, mind you, it just sold for just over $400,000 last year. And we, as you all know, Dunham's is now closing, and I just received notification right before this that Bath and Body Works will be closing on January 24th. So what's very frustrating again about this is we also put our best foot forward. We offered them incentives. They have in hand as they've said, lease agreements that would bring them almost $800,000 in revenue a year. And what that is a movie theater, a Five Below, and a women's clothing store. We have also offered them incentives as we have with other businesses, and unfortunately, they are non-communicative. But I think that it's important that we're always as transparent as possible about the efforts that we have made to try to not only keep, but to retain, but to recruit businesses. I apologize, I need a little bit of water.
I got a question. In regards to Yale, Heister, Indiana has an obvious advantage over Illinois. Am I right or wrong on that?
In many ways, yes.
So, that's putting us in a bad spot with us being on a border where we have to do what you just said. I mean, we went above and beyond, I'm sure. How can we combat that? And I don't even know if we're going to be able to.
How do we combat that? Make sure that that we're as good as possible to do business with here. To make sure that we have incentives available when we do have the opportunity to grab things. And the other thing is we're going to be working with Vermilion Advantage for them to be more proactive. For the longest time, I would say probably since Tanisha Shadesbane was the interim director, we have not actively recruited businesses. Vermilion Advantage hasn't. The city has, and we've been very successful with some of those, but Vermilion Advantage has not. So we spent a day about a month ago in a workshop trying to make sure that we have our mission and values in correct alignment with Vermilion Advantage. And we're spending another half day there, I believe, next week to get that finalized. That way, as we hire the next CEO, we can be assured that we have someone that's assertive and being proactive instead of always reactive.
But the bad thing about that is we've got a developer or a development that wants to go south of 74 on that, Casey's and all that. I don't even know if that's going to be in existence anymore. But, when somebody says, well, Ameren isn't going to build over there or help us out, that doesn't make any sense. My Ameren bill's gone up enough where I could probably pay for it. But, I mean, what's stopping that? I mean,
the last record that I had of it was money. Yes, these are very impactful I-74 developments, but they are not substantial enough to justify the roughly, I'll give you a ballpark, $1.2 million to install gas and electric underneath the interstate and essentially a mini substation for their development. They would really likely need a large anchor to help share the cost of those Ameren utilities to get there.
And we have offered them incentives as well. So far, they have not moved forward. They're looking for a larger tenant before I think that they're willing to nail down a larger tenant before I believe they're willing to move forward.
They got close. Sorry to interrupt again. They got really close. There was 3 tenants total. 2 of them that the council is aware of, which was the dispensary and the Casey's truck stop. The other can go unnamed, but that was their anchor tenant, and they backed out of the deal.
See, it's a bad thing about it is we're just going to have to do everything we possibly can to get anything in here. I mean, especially with us being on the border, and we've lost 500 jobs here within the last couple of years, and it's just we've got to do something to combat that. And I don't know what we're going to do it.
It's actually more than 500. When Heister leaves, will be over 700, and that's despite adding over 600 jobs since my first term. So we'll be in my first term. So we'll be at a net loss. Yes, Alderman Jones.
I just think it'd be a very reasonable thing to maybe put more business out by the highways than rather in town.
Yes. Well, I would agree with you on a lot of things, Alderman, but the problem is, it's a simple scenario I put to people, and I ask them, like, hey, can I tell you what to do with your money?
Mm-hmm. All right.
So when you have millionaire people who are going to invest millions of dollars or multi-billion dollar international companies, we can't tell them where they're going to invest their money. We can incentivize it, which we have. but ultimately they decide, where they want to be. For example, the restaurant that will eventually go where Red Lobster is now. I mean, we have plenty of other greenfield sites. It would be easier for them to build on instead of having to tear down a site to build something new, right? But that's a high traffic area. It's high visibility. That's where they want to be, and a lot of times these folks who are making investments are looking at where the highest traffic areas are. And for us, the highest traffic areas tend to be up north. Our busiest intersection in town is Winter and Vermilion. The second busiest, I think, is Fairchild and Vermilion. The third or fourth busiest is Fairchild and Gilbert Street. And so, they want to be where we have high vehicular traffic. The challenge to us is that it makes it more important than ever that we're incredibly good stewards of the resources we have. And that's what I explained to someone recently. It's like, look, we can't control everything, but the things that we do, we have to make sure that we do them well because it's your money and there's less of it.
But if there's a manufacturer saying they're wanting to build and they're looking for locations, in Illinois or Indiana or whatever, who on our part contacts these people saying, hey, we've got land available or whatever, we'll work with you? And is this for me an advantage?
Yeah. Essentially, most large players, when you're talking, let's use FedEx, for example, they'll use a third-party consultant to list their site and request for RFPs. They request for information through these large-scale development sites, and it is Vermilion Advantage's job now to locate those and submit that application so they can just quickly finger through the city of Danville's application and then they'll put it in a pile. That's essentially what happens. We got very, very lucky when it comes to like a project like FedEx. The consultant they hired had a direct relationship with the city of Danville, so they called us. So we got in direct contact with them. But most of the time, it's blind luck. They are searching through online applications, and that's the mission of Vermilion Advantage, as Mayor was alluding to, is to put in those applications because they're looking for certain utility capacities, acreage, topography, freight, interstate proximity, most of the time an airport, and we have to submit all of those. We have no idea to whom, and then they pick us and hopefully eventually call us.
And the other thing...
Go ahead.
The other thing, Alderman Cooper, is the only good thing, if there is anything good about losing something that's been in your community for 60 or 70 years, is that the state of Illinois is all in with us. They have guided us in applying for a couple of grants. We do believe that we will likely be able to receive flooding remediation money that we need for the former Heatcraft site that would allow us to develop all of the Heatcraft and Quaker sites together, which is approximately 100 acres. And they also are helping us with site readiness grants through the state of Illinois. When I say site readiness, I mean just that there are some places, for example, where we have hundreds of acres of land available but no utilities. So we are partnering with them to get those sites ready so that they would be developable if we do, at such time as we have someone that's looking for such a site.
But Logan, in regards to what you just said, all these applications or whatever coming down, are we even getting any nibbles or anything showing any interest?
We do.
I mean, yeah, we'll make it through a couple of rounds, and then it'll get really, really niche. As I've mentioned in the past, land, we're starving of big mega sites, of big land. That's why Quaker and Heatcraft is going to be so important. That's why Mr. Offutt's site was so important for the Heister Yale project. Those are pretty easily, readily accessible ground that can be built on, but there's not very many of those sites in or around the city of Danville. That's readily available.
And the other problem that we have, Alderman Cooper, is that many of the sites that we do have available are surrounded by sites that are owned by the Latter-day Saints. Right. And they will not sell land. They used to do a 3-to-1 trade or a 10-to-1 trade, and they're at a point now where they will not sell land. So, for example, let's say that we're trying to put together a 100-acre site. We might have 50 over here and 20 over here and 10 over there. But if the Latter-day Saints own the 20 in the middle, and we needed 100 acres for the project, then we're out of the running.
Alderman Cooper, you bring up a really, really good point that I want to expand on a little bit against the Indiana and Illinois. We'll call it a battle. That's what it is, right? And I think it became clear to us between Indiana and the state of Illinois while we're battling for the Heister project, what you guys are aware of is that we tried to extend the enterprise zone to that location. There's a very valuable property tax incentive available there to the tune of tens of millions of dollars over a 15-year span, okay? That impacts all parties. All parties that approved that would have taken a loss, a net loss, over 15 years. That made us very competitive in that project, but in the long term, as we've heard back from our resources, that still doesn't touch on the net gain that Indiana is offering on their lack of property taxes over in the state of Indiana. Now, do they make that up and make it on likely income taxes and other sources? Yes. That doesn't hit their dotted line. It's the property tax battle that we're battling right now over there.
Well,
And the other thing that we're battling is, workers' compensation laws and such like that here in the state of Illinois, where it's much friendlier there. And then also you have to think their minimum wage is half of ours.
oh, and I agree. I just want that stated, more or less.
Yes, Alderman Irons.
I guess I would just offer for everybody is there is an appropriate time for a more lengthy discussion, I believe, at the council level on how we can continue to better prepare ourselves. I think we would all acknowledge there's work yet to be done to be the best. I drove over to Avon once I found out that was the community, and if you drive to Avon and you drive to Danville, they look different. And one community is growing, one is not. And so I think it goes back to part of what the mayor has indicated in terms of your stewardship of the resources that you do have, how they're being focused and prioritized. But you have to recognize that places like Indiana are always going to have that advantage. And, some years ago, there was a business that said it would not stay here unless we could get them located across the state line. Danville needs to figure out how to serve utilities into Indiana. Because the bottom line is going back to what the mayor stated, whether they're in Tilton or some other community or just outside of Danville, if they're 50 feet on the other side of the line, those people are still going to be spending money in Danville. They're going to be living in Danville, and there's opportunity there. Because if we're going to be stuck to the model that we've always existed and operated under with the state, we're getting too small to be able to compete for these kinds of projects. And so we've got to have the particular project that Mr. Cooper brings up. That's an example of, well, does the city need to pony up the 1.2 million to make things happen? Those are the kinds of things we need to be talking about going down the road and having the resources in place to have the mayor have the ability to do that. Regarding the Heister-Yale project, I was not involved in it from the start. I got involved somewhat at the tail end in a previous role. So it was a difficult project to achieve. And I will agree that in the several months that I was involved, we were able to get people together, get the things resolved, and that was the case. So as the mayor indicated, a lot of work to do, and there were some good things that came as a result. Still a little fresh for those people that are finding out they're unemployed. So yes, I'll hold any other comments till a little later. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. I guess what I would say too is that we have had conversations with them about incentives, and their conversations with us thus far have been until we tie down the third hanker. Long term, it doesn't make sense for us yet. So the last thing that I want to discuss with you to make you aware of is something that you've probably read about, is the situation with Chris Rural Mass Transit District. Now, I want to make sure that everyone is very clear. Chris Senior Services, which is what we think of over on Franklin Street, where the folks meet, where they do Meals on Wheels and provide other senior services, and Chris Rural Mass Transit District are two separate things, okay? They used to be all under one roof, and they split maybe 5 or so years ago, okay? Unfortunately, ever since that split, the Mass Transit District has struggled. Because we knew that they were struggling, and because the state of Illinois was requiring that there would only be one fiscal agent in the community, we were proactive and met with Both of our chairman and I, as well as some of our team, met with the county board and their team over a period of time, almost 2 years ago, to try to get this resolved. The executive committee of the county board recommended, I think nearly unanimously, that we would become the fiscal agent for the state. And then the next month, which would have been June of 2024, the county board voted that down. At that time, they were almost, so to clarify relationships, Chris, RMTD, provides for the city of Danville paratransit service. That's service for people who have ambulatory issues that cannot get to a traditional bus or ride a traditional bus. We pick up those folks at their home and take them to their point of need and then bring them back. Primarily, it's used for doctor's appointments, dialysis, things like that. However, they are able to use it for other limited services. So the city of Danville contracted with them to provide that service. In addition to that, Chris RMTD provided a lot of transportation all throughout the county. They provided that service that we provided for our citizens in contract with them. They also had a contract through Livingston County with Iroquois and Ford counties to provide that service for those citizens as well. Additionally, they provided a host of critical transportation in this community. So I'll give you an example, WorkSource up north for citizens with, for adults with developmental disabilities. They provide life skills, they provide job training, job opportunities, and other recreational and fellowship opportunities. Of their 120-ish clientele, over 80 of them were served by Chris. They had a contract with Chris RMTD where Chris got them to and from their sessions every day. Unfortunately, at the time that we went to the county last year, Chris RMTD was almost 1 year behind in billing us for their paratransit services. They had some other issues. They had hired our former treasurer as their financial person. There continued to be a lot of issues there. Unfortunately, the writing was on the wall. Director White and I and our chairman pleaded with them. I went personally to beg them to work with us to make this happen. And unfortunately, for I believe political reasons, it was voted down. And here we are today. So, on the first day of the year, we get a call where they're closed. They didn't even call us. They didn't even have the decency or dignity to call us to give us a heads up so that we could try to put anything in place. But that's where I want to tell you that once again, I'm incredibly proud of our team. Director White and his team came together with a plan. Immediately, they called all of our dialysis centers in town. They made sure that they got a list of those patients who would release it for us to go and pick them up. So all day Saturday, our team of Director White, Robert McNeil, Petropoulos, and then newcomer Janisha Morris drove all day. The first drop-off is at 5:40 in the morning, so before we even start our transportation services. They got up every day. So that means if we have a person in Hoopston that needs services, that's an hour round trip, right? So they're leaving here at 4:40, meaning that they've got to be here at 4 o'clock. But they busted their hump to make sure that everybody could have their dialysis service, and I'm very proud of that. Incredibly proud and thankful of them and their leadership. Behind the scenes, our comptroller has helped a lot with working through financial issues too, and so I just want to say to them that we're incredibly proud. We will continue to provide that service for dialysis. In the meantime, we were supposed to have a meeting with the Department of Transportation Director Schaefer yesterday. Unfortunately, things were so bad at Chris, they spent the entire day instead of a portion of the day doing inventory, et cetera. They found missing buses that didn't work, and a host of other issues. Thankfully, I think we've located nearly everything now, but that delayed our meeting with them until today. To make a long story short, we have a lot of details to work through, but with your support, I do believe that we can continue to help our brothers and sisters in Vermilion County and the private agencies as well. However, what is that going to take? A number of things. First and foremost, an updated intergovernmental agreement with the state of Illinois. Also, it's going to take equipment. Director Schaefer has indicated that he's willing to transfer all of their vehicles that are in good condition to us to help us provide those services, as well as getting folks hired and trained and everyone insured. That's going to take some time. I wish that I could do it tomorrow. Unfortunately, we can't, and not be safe and not, without, subjecting ourselves to a lot of liability, and also the people we're serving to a lot of liability. I will be working with my team diligently to get that updated and to all of those things in place and to bring them to you as soon as possible. But WorkSource, Community Action, CrossPoint, all of those people, we have people that can't get to their counseling appointments right now because they don't have transportation. So we are busting hump to get that together, a reasonable agreement. I've made it clear to Mr. Schaefer that while we want to help, that unfortunately Danville doesn't have resources to subsidize provision of services outside of the county. As a result, they have agreed to reduce the state's portion of the funding from 65% to 80%. So that will be a huge increase and improvement for us and allow us to be able to serve folks more. But we will continue to work through those details. There are a lot of questions that I can't answer for you yet because I don't have the answers myself, but I can assure you that we will get everything nailed down and bring that to you post haste, because literally there are lives on the line. Think about it at Chris, for example. Not at Chris, at WorkSource. All those folks that are not having that fellowship, that socialization, that are not getting that training, that life skills support. And not only that, but the people that are their family and loved ones that provide for them, right? How long is it before someone's not able to go to work because they're not able to send their loved one to get that kind of service? So we'll do everything that we can to get those in order. I have asked all those entities have started sending me their contracts so that we can start reviewing language, making any additions or updates. Our legal team is working diligently on that as well. I wish that I had more information. I don't have much information for you now, and I apologize that those parts of my report have been so long, but I think there are things that are important for the community. Yes, Alderman Arns.
Just one question, Mayor. You referenced a county vote that did not go for our approval. Are they out of it now that Chris went under, or is there still some level of approval? I wasn't aware they had any role.
So, according to state statute, the county board in each county can designate a rural mass transit. However, the state does have the authority to supersede that, but only in extreme circumstances. And they have superseded that and made us the fiscal agent for the state, for Vermilion County Transportation.
So they voted down us doing it, but they didn't have anybody else that they voted to do it.
It's Chris Rural Mass Transit District.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. Okay. But again, I just want to say to our team, thank you. Literally, y'all are heroes. Literally, you're stepping in to make sure that people can sustain their lives, and I can't tell you how much we appreciate it. There are two more people that I want to make sure that I mention, and that's Miss Nakia Boots at DeVita Dialysis Center and Diane Luchka at Danville Dialysis. Those ladies have been angels underfoot. And how so? They've been helping us coordinate schedules, okay? So let's say that we had a patient in Georgetown that had a 8 o'clock appointment and one that had a 1 o'clock appointment. They've been helping us work with the patients to adjust those schedules. So then we're only going down to Georgetown back and forth once or twice a day versus going down, having to figure out how to coordinate that and get to Hoopston and get out to Catlin and make sure that we're able to take care of our people. So Ms. Boots and Ms. Luchka, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you for everything that you all have done to help us.
Are the townships involved in any way?
The townships have stepped up and helped some folks as well. I don't think that they have the capacity to provide all of the transportation that is needed, though. But they have. So I want to thank our partners, and particularly in Newell and Danville townships, they have stepped up as well. Okay, I think that's the longest report I've ever given, so I will forego any further comment for now. Madam Clerk, at this time, do we have any petitions, communications, or audience comments?
We do. When I call your name, please come to the podium. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. Got P.J. Bourne of Danville regarding cul-de-sac.
All right, 2026. So this is to our mayor and our city council. I'm writing to formally request a review and correction action regarding the name of the street, which is the cul-de-sac, as well as the address ongoing concerning of unequal treatment, favoritism, and lack of consistency and the services, municipal service at my place of residence. It is my understanding that the original owner of my property, Dr. Harding, was granted special consideration by the city in and around 1966 when the house was built, including the name of the street after himself. As the current and lawful owner and resident of this property, I'm requesting that a privilege considerations and accommodations previously extended to him be equally extended to me. These considerations should further transfer with ownership and not be limited to a prior residence. Additionally, I am observing and experiencing what appears to have favoritism toward a neighborhood and the residents. Specifically, after neighbors contracted the city request street cleaning, the city cleaned only the 2 residents in front of mine, while excluding the portion of the street directly adjacent to my property, despite it being the same street and cul-de-sac. This is selective service and should be unacceptable and given the appearance of bias and prejudice. I am also concerned about a series of unusual and troubled incidents on and around the property. These include drones flying over my home, unidentified individuals present on the land, and men claiming various purposes for being in the area. One individual was dressed as a plumber and appeared to be assisting or observing the property on my side of the street. Around Thanksgiving, I encountered an individual identifying himself as Carter, and Carter stated he was arranging an AT&T internet service, claiming to live in Chicago and had no clear reason for being on near the property. Furthermore, city officials have come to my residence in city vehicles and stated that they were unaware anyone lived there. Regardless of that claim, the issue remains that I am entitled to the same city services, recognitions, and respect afforded to and others residents. To be clear, my request is for the street changed and is an independent street cleaning, and it is also the municipal service. The name of the street should not be used as leverage or justification or excuse to deny routine city maintenance in the services. In summary, I am requesting a formal review and approval of the change to the name of the street, equal consistent services through the city, including street cleaning without favoritism, and investigating in the apparent bias or prejudice unequal treatment, and also clarifying regardless unauthorized individuals, surveillancing, or activities occurring on or near the property. I respectfully request a written response or address to these matters, and also for the city to intend to take and to resolve them promptly and as fair as possible. I'm only saying that because this is what has happened since I've been coming to these meetings. It is as if I've been, targeted. And so I've taken pictures. I have pictures
Mrs.
of...
Bourne, I apologize, but your time has expired.
Did you hear me?
Ma'am?
Oh, did you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I look forward to hearing from you as well.
Thank
you.
That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to address the council this evening? All right. Thank you. We do not have any zoning petitions. However, you do have before you the payrolls of December 19th, December 26th, and January 2nd. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate? Alderman.
Mayor, on some of the overtime for sewer and solid waste, it shows higher amounts. I'm assuming maybe that's related to plowing, and I was surprised it was coming out of those. Does that get reimbursed by streets then?
At this point in time, no. That is something we're working on with our business plans. But since I have been involved in the plowing budgets and everything, that's how it's been. So that's something we intend to work through and ensure gets looked at.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, Alderman?
No.
Any other questions or roll call vote, please?
Alderman Cooper,
Yes.
Arns,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Teague,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Strebing,
Yes.
Poor,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
DeToy,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
13 yes.
13 yes, the motion carries. You also have before you the vouchers payable of 12/23/25, as well as 1/6/26, and special runs of 12/22/25 and 12/30/25. Is there a motion to approve those?
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and second. Is there any discussion or debate? Yes, Alderman Teague.
I just have a couple of questions. On page 4 of the 12/23/25, there was a voucher for a redevelopment plan for 125 North Vermillion, and my question is, will that plan be presented to the council?
All plans will be presented to the council once they have been reviewed, and we have a path forward, yes.
Okay. And then, and do we have a ETA on when we might see that particular plan?
Yeah, I'm hoping very soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the next question is on page 4 of the 1/6 vouchers, which is a voucher that says Chris purchased transportation, and it was for $89.65.79. So my question is, I'm assuming it's obviously related to the situation with Chris. Are we purchasing, or did we purchase buses, or exactly what was that for?
Alderman, that was for the paratransit service that we discussed earlier. Unfortunately, they continue to be delayed in their billing.
So it was a bill that was, it was a normal routine bill that was sent to us late, not related to the.
Numerous ones, yes,
Okay.
Alderman. Yep. Alderman Tate, did you have any further questions?
No, those were it. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? All right, roll call, please.
Alderman Arns,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Ludwig.
Yes.
Teague,
Yes.
Pickering.
Yes.
Strebing.
Yes.
Poor,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Pashard,
Yes.
DeToy,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
Cooper,
Yes.
13 yes.
13 yes, the motion carries. At this time, we will receive our Public Services Committee report. Chairman Strebing.
Yes, 11A is to accept and place on file the Treasurer's Report for October of 2025. I'll need a motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any questions on the Treasurer's Report this time? If
Chairman,
not-
I would just say, I think in all of my years of involvement with city government, this is the first time that it's ever been provided in a timely manner. So a huge thank you, Treasurer, Comptroller, and both of your teams. Outstanding work.
I remember it was 6 and 8 months before we get a report. So
10 and 12
yeah,
months.
yeah, well, yeah. So, I'm trying to be kind. So if there's no other questions, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, Mayor. Items of information, I don't have anything. How about anybody else on the Public Services Committee? Do you have anything? That concludes our report, Mayor.
Thank you, Chairman. At this time, we'll receive our Public Works Committee report. Chairman Poor.
Thank you, Mayor. 12A is a resolution approving the purchase of playground equipment for Garfield Park. Move to dispense with reading, ask for approval, need a second.
Second.
Questions? Do have a little picture of
Yeah.
this will be coming out of the OSLAG grant.
The OSLAD grant, yes. In addition to what's shown in the picture, there are also, you'll notice in the item or the supplemental documentation that there are field goal posts, a scoreboard, and pavilion. And also a bag set that a cornhole set that stays in place, like a concrete permanent cornhole set.
Questions? Alderman Cooper.
Who's going to use the football field? Just one, Chris, is it just one team using it?
I think how we've been using the rest of the football fields, it tends to be specific teams that kind of have their areas. However, that's open for discussion, I think.
Primarily the Seahawks. That's the home field for the Seahawks. They're probably our largest youth football program. They have several hundred who participate in football and cheerleading. But others will be able to use it as well. And the school has already, Mark Denman has already contacted us about using it for their field day and such as well.
Alderman Arms.
The only follow-up to that, Mayor, you had indicated that your expectation of them is that that become a public entity. The football, that the teams join together into a league that is ran jointly. That's my only problem. Right now, they're a privately held organization, and we built them a facility. We didn't build facilities for any other privately owned organizations. And so while I recognize that's always been in existence, we've also been trying for the better part of 2 decades to get them to give up their private franchise and form a league where everybody shares the revenues, everybody shares the work, and everybody shares the success. But anyway, I just think it's important to note this is not a typical youth league situation. All of our other youth leagues I'm aware of are all ran as an organization that benefit all of the youth equally. These are privately owned franchises, unless that's changed.
So they do still own their franchises. However, they are out of a part of a league. The league is run out of Champaign-Urbana. There are two leagues over in one in Champaign, one in Urbana, Decatur, and Rantoul. That is the league that they play currently. Unfortunately, the Vermilion Valley League will not allow our teams to participate because they're afraid of superior participation by our youth. But that is something that I would like to work towards eventually, not for this year. That's impossible to accomplish on this timeline, but my hope is that by next year that we might be able to achieve our own league. I think we have enough young people that wish to participate that we could support it.
I don't know about our own league. I just think all the funding should not be going to private individuals.
Well, unfortunately,
and/or organizations that aren't not-for-profit.
So they do all of their own fundraising, and we have to realize that we didn't build this just for them. The schools will use it, the Boys and Girls Club will use it all quite regularly. So this wasn't built for one entity. And the bottom line is, if we have 300 to 500 youth that are using it on a regular basis, one of the things we've lamented about is that we don't have enough for our youth to do. I think that it's a good thing that we're going to have it there for them.
Maybe instead of just making it a Seahawks background for it, we enhance it by putting every team
logos.
Yeah, like little posters or whatever, just so it doesn't seem as if it's one team's field.
Sure. So there will not be any kind of team branding on the field in terms of there won't be logos on the goalpost. On the field goal the scoreboard or anything like that. So that way that it will be able to be used by everyone. And here's the other thing that I would say, Alderman, while I think your thought in an ideal world is incredible, practically speaking, for over 50 years, and Mr. Butler knows this from the days back of the Cowboys and the Raiders and all of that, these folks have owned their own franchises. And the thing is, they raise their own money as well. The city doesn't provide them funding. And so I think it would be a difficult thing to get them to give up their franchises, but we can, I think, eventually get them to play by our rules. And you play by our rules or you don't use the property. And that's the I think where we have to get long term to make sure that we're successful. And the bottom line is if they didn't have the franchises, we wouldn't have youth football. Some of you all remember about 16, 17 years ago, when I'm first home a couple of years, our youth football league was struggling and nearly had gone away. So, while there are still certainly things to improve upon and work out, I'm proud of them for keeping alive and helping so many of our kids.
Alderman Butler.
Yes, I have a statement as well. I've noticed that too, like during the games, and I noticed we just got bleachers on one side. I think it would be advisable to maybe have bleachers on both sides because, some of the games that when you got both teams of parents, it's mainly parents, on the same side. There's a big controversy. And, like the high school, colleges, not colleges there, but the high schools. So they got two sides. And I kind of think, we need to probably think about putting bleachers on the other side And to kind of keep down the controversies.
So the reason why we, one of the things that you all, along the way, we met with the users of the Seahawks, the other football teams. We met with the Boys and Girls Club. We met with the schools, those who actively use that park, and especially with the football folks, Alderman Butler, their request was that we not have bleachers on the other side. I don't know if when you've last been to a game, but 90% of those who are sitting there, they set up their own tents, they're grilling out, they're setting up their own chairs and stuff, so they did not want bleachers around the whole thing or on both sides because they wanted room to be able to put their tents and things like that as well. Yes, Alderman Jones.
You done?
No, not really.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Alderman. I apologize.
Yes, right. They did have tents and stuff at the parks, but you notice that those tents was on both sides.
Mm-hmm, they are.
And so one team on the other side, one team on the other side. And so I understand what you're saying. Of course, the home team is going to say, hey, we want to make sure we want some bleachers on our side. We ain't worried about the other side. And so I kind of think we need to make a decision to do that. If not, I mean, I've done made my statement.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Alderman Jones?
I've had some residents come to me about the field, and they say that, I went look, the field is not boxed off. Like the whole field is boxed off, but the actual like football field is like open. It's only like certain fence on one side and another side, but the parents and stuff could still get on the field.
Get on the field, right.
And that was one of the complaints of keeping parents off of the field when kids are playing. I know from years ago, we always had, like, it'll get real packed up and kids are running into parents, running kids over, running parents over. So I feel like we need to fence it off more all the way around the field part for the actual game.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. Again, what I would tell you is in the end, we went with what those who use it recommended and requested. So I would say that we give it a try for this season and see how things go. And if we determine that we need to address any further issues, that then we would try to make changes at such time.
Okay, other questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Jones?
Yes.
Ludwig?
Yes.
Teague?
Yes.
Pickering?
Yes.
Streebing?
Yes.
Poor?
Yes.
O'Kane?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Pashard?
Yes.
DeToy?
Yes.
Butler?
Yes.
Cooper?
Yes.
Arns?
Nope.
12 yes.
12 yes, motion passes. Moving on, if there's no objection, since Logan's been getting so much money, we have a bunch of resolution amendments. I'd like to take 12B, C, and D together. B is a resolution amending the fiscal year 25-26 budget to move Fund 719 from fiscal year 26-27 budget. C is a resolution amending the IDA half for grant amount for additional funds. And D is a resolution amending the fiscal year 25-26 budget to reflect the increased IDA half for grant amounts. No objection, take those three together, and we'll need a second.
Second.
Alderman Teague?
719, so on C and D, the budget line items are 713 and not 719. So are these related?
Two separate grants.
So I think that B should be separate from C and D then.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
So we'll just do B. Still good with your second, Alderman Butler? You still good with the second on just B?
Yes.
Or is that Alderman Pashard?
No, I didn't second.
Oh,
Alderman Pashard.
you still okay with that, Alderman Pashard? Just doing B?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
Yes.
Questions on B? Alderman Teague.
So since this is not related, what is this for?
Yeah. This is, I believe I alluded before the end of the year. The CPF funds, we are getting started on the projects. The budget that was just passed, we anticipated with the federal freeze and the administrative changes that were occurring to the programs, we had feared that it was either going to slow drastically down, so we pushed the funds into the next fiscal year, the budget that was just approved. Thankfully, they did release the funds, they approved our plan, and we have started the project essentially with asbestos abatement. So bringing those funds out of the recently passed FY27 budget, bringing them forward into this current operating budget.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, anything else, Alderman Teague?
No, that's it.
Okay, roll call please on 12B.
Alderman Ludwig.
Yes.
Teague.
Yes.
Pickering.
Yes.
Streebing.
Yes.
Poor.
Yes.
O'Kane.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Pashard.
Yes.
DeToy.
Yes.
Butler.
Yes.
Cooper.
Yes.
Arns.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
13 yes.
13 yes, resolution passes. Now, if there's no objection, take C and D together. Need a move to dispense reading. Ask for your approval. Need a second.
Second.
Questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Teague.
Yes.
Pickering.
Yes.
Streebing.
Yes.
Poor.
Yes.
O'Kane.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Pashard.
Yes.
DeToy.
Yes.
Butler.
Yes.
Cooper.
Yes.
Arns.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Ludwig.
Yes.
13 yes.
13 yes, resolutions pass. And 12E, items of information. Director Rui.
I'm going to update you guys on something that's come up in the last, well, we noticed it a couple months ago, and we've kind of been monitoring it, and we're going to need to take action on it. So out at the Winter Avenue Bridge over Stony Creek there, just west of Winter Park, we had done a bridge, the city had done a bridge construction, I don't know, 15 years ago now, give or take. Some of the sheet piling on the north side of the bridge there that is intended to kind of solidify the embankment there of Stony Creek, we started to notice some settlement within the pavement, and then we've got a structural engineer engaged to kind of take a look at it. What's happening there is Stony Creek has slowly but surely over the last 15 years or so begun to erode away the bank, which is part of the stabilization of those sheet piles. That being said, we're starting to see a drift there. We're tracking it and monitoring it, but we've got an engineer that we've got a proposal from to get engaged to restabilize the existing sheet piling, probably have to do some pavement repairs there because we're guessing there may be some settlement and things there that we've got to resolve, and then as well as doing some bank stabilization within Stony Creek to prevent this cutting from happening again in the future. The initial estimates, at least from the design engineering standpoint, are a little less than $50,000. The construction, we don't have an exact number on, but I would guesstimate based on some work we had done in my previous job with some bank stabilizations efforts. We're probably looking at a few $100,000 here to stabilize this and get repairs made. Mostly just trying to let you guys know this in the event we have to act on this. We'll be bringing things back, but we are going to act on this because we don't want to wait to get a goalie washer down there and have real problems.
Anything else? That's it. Okay, Mayor, that concludes our report.
Thank you, Chairman. I apologize, but we do have a need for closed session. At this time, I would entertain a motion to go into closed session under Section 2C1 of the Open Meetings Act to approve closed session minutes.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion or debate? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Streebing.
No.
Poor.
No.
O'Kane.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Pashard.
Yes.
DeToy.
Yes.
Butler.
No.
Cooper.
No.
Arns.
Yep.
Jones.
No.
Ludwig.
Yes.
Teague.
Yes.
Pickering.
Yes.
How many no's?
8 yes.
8 yes, the motion carries. We are adjourned to closed session. Hopefully it will be quick. There may be action taken after.
You guys are getting close.
Entertain a motion to return to open session.
Yeah.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Pickering, seconded by Chairman Poor. Any discussion or debate? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you very much. At this time, I would entertain a motion to item number 14, release certain closed session minutes. Is there a motion and a second to do so?
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Poor,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Pishard,
Yes.
DeToy,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
Cooper, Arns,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Teague,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Streebing, 11 yes.
11 yes, the motion carries. Item 15 is a resolution authorizing the destruction of certain closed session tapes and audio recordings. Is there a motion and a second to do so?
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman O'Kane,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Pishard,
Yes.
DeToy,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
Cooper, Arns,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Teague,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Poor,
Yes.
11 yes.
11 yes, the motion carries. Are there any items of information for the good of the cause?
When will we be going across the street? When is that?
As soon as we can get designs ready and make sure that we have a designated funding source. So hopefully design sometime in the next 2 months, and then move on forward from there. Having satisfied the agenda, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. We are adjourned. Have a great night, everyone. Be safe.